Every time I pray in my darkest moments, guilt drowns me. I feel unworthy, like I'm trying to bargain with God. But this time, He must listen. If He answers this prayer, I swear I will serve Him forever. My heart cannot bear this pain. I need a miracle. Tears blurred my vision as I stared at the still, lifeless body of my 2-month-old baby. The world around me collapsed into silence. My chest tightened. I gasped for air, but none came. It felt like my soul had been ripped apart. Please, God, bring my baby back. Take my sight, my voice, my life, just don't take my child. Joy, a 31-year-old new mom that is consumed by a mix of overwhelming grief, desperation, and guilt. The night is heavy with grief, almost suffocating. The air is thick, unmoving, as if time itself has paused in the weight of this moment. The room feels eerily silent, except for the faint sounds of my ragged breathing, maybe a distant drip of water or the creak of an old chair. The lighting is dim, perhaps from flickering candles or weak sunlight struggling through a window. Shadows stretch long across the floor, mirroring the emptiness she feels inside. The air is cold, or maybe it just feels that way, like warmth has drained from the world along with the life of her child. The door creaks open. Soft footsteps cross the floor, hesitant at first, then more certain. "Oh, my God," Esther's voice is hushed, a whisper wrapped in false sympathy. She is 37, a woman whose presence carries authority, but today, she lowers herself, crouching beside her best friend. Her hands tremble as she reaches out, but whether in comfort or calculation, it is unclear. "I'm so sorry," she breathes, her dark eyes flickering over the mother's tear-streaked face before landing on the unmoving bundle in her arms. A long pause stretches between them, and for a moment, the mother does not speak. She only grips her child tighter. Esther's heart does not ache the way it should. She tilts her head, studying the mother's grief like a spectator at a tragic play. She should feel guilty, perhaps she does, in some small, hidden place, but something colder settles in her chest instead. A secret satisfaction. She has always been there, smiling, comforting, offering soft words of wisdom, but never truly on the mother's side. Not in the way a real friend should be. There is a bitterness inside her, a quiet resentment that has lived in her heart for years. Maybe it's envy. Maybe it's something darker. But as she watches the woman before her crumble, she knows one thing for certain. Some wounds are easier to exploit when they are fresh. The air is thick with grief, clinging to the walls, seeping into the floorboards. It's almost suffocating, yet I breathe it in deeply, letting it settle in my chest like a warm drink on a cold night. She doesn't hear me when I step into the room. Her whole body is curled around the lifeless thing in her arms, shaking, broken, pathetic. I soften my expression, adjusting my voice to something low and gentle. "Oh, my God." She stiffens but doesn't look at me. I take another step closer, my eyes flickering over the small, motionless body. The baby. Her baby. The one she loved so much, the one she thought made her special. And now she's just another grieving mother, another desperate woman begging for a miracle that won't come. I should feel pity. Maybe I do. But deep inside, beneath the layers of forced kindness, there's something else. Something colder. I crouch beside her, slowly, carefully. My hand reaches out, hesitating just long enough to appear unsure, before resting lightly on her shoulder. "I'm so sorry," I whisper. She shudders under my touch, her breath hitching. Good. She trusts me. She always has. She doesn't know that I have never truly been on her side. I watch her crumble, watch as the weight of this loss buries her. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a thought blooms like a dark flower. This is the moment. The moment she is weakest. The moment I can shape her. Because grief makes people blind. It makes them desperate. And desperate people are the easiest to control. The dim room reeks of sorrow. The baby is still, the mother is broken, and I am exactly where I need to be. A knock at the door startles her. She flinches, clutching the child tighter. Her eyes, red and swollen, dart to me. There's hope in them, a foolish, fleeting hope that maybe, just maybe, help has come. I rise slowly, brushing invisible dust from my skirt. "I'll check," I murmur, offering her a gentle smile, one that soothes and deceives all at once. I step into the hallway, closing the door behind me with deliberate care. My fingers rest on the handle for a moment before I turn to the visitor. A man stands there, tall, worried, breathless. The local doctor. His eyes search my face, already reading the truth in it. "Where is she?" His voice is urgent, his concern palpable. "I came as soon as I heard." I inhale deeply, my lips pressing together as if I, too, am overwhelmed by the tragedy. Then, I exhale, shaking my head. "She's in no state to see anyone right now." My voice is low, sorrowful. She's praying." I let the last word hang between us, heavy with meaning. The doctor stiffens. "She said she doesn't want interruptions," I continue, lowering my gaze as if burdened by my own helplessness. "She believes only God can bring the child back." I sigh, stepping aside just slightly, but not enough to let him pass. "If we barge in now, we might break what little strength she has left." He hesitates. His hands clench at his sides. He wants to argue, I can see it. But faith is a delicate thing, and doubt even more so. Finally, he exhales sharply, stepping back. "If she needs me," his voice trails off, uncertain. "I'll call for you," I say with a nod, placing a reassuring hand on his arm. "But for now, let her be." He nods slowly, his duty battling with the respect he believes he owes her grief. Then, with one last reluctant glance at the door, he turns and walks away. I wait until his footsteps fade before slipping back inside. The mother hasn't moved. She is still kneeling, still praying, still pleading. I crouch beside her, placing a hand on her back, pretending to share her pain. "The doctor was here," I whisper. Her head jerks up, eyes wide. "Where is he?" I shake my head solemnly. "He left." A pause. He said, "Some things are beyond even him." The last bit is a lie. But the way her face crumbles, the way her shoulders sag in resignation, that part is real. She won't fight. She won't question. She'll keep kneeling, keep weeping, keep waiting for a miracle that will never come. And I will be right here when she finally breaks. The door bursts open, slamming against the wall. A rush of cold air sweeps into the dimly lit room, scattering the stale scent of grief. Joy flinches, her tear-streaked face snapping up as heavy footsteps storm toward her. "Where is he? Where's my son?" Her husband's voice is raw, frantic. His shirt is wrinkled, his hands trembling as he pushes past Esther, who had been crouched beside his wife like a shadow. Another man follows close behind, his friend, his brother in arms in this desperate fight against fate. Joy barely manages a whisper. "He's gone." But the father doesn't hear her. He refuses to. His eyes lock onto the small, lifeless body cradled in her arms, and something inside him shatters. "No, no," he drops to his knees, hands shaking as they reach for his son. He touches the child's cheek, cold. Presses his fingers to his wrist, nothing. But still, he refuses to accept it. He looks up at his wife, eyes wild, pleading. "Why are you just sitting here?" His voice cracks, a storm of pain and fury. "We need to do something." She doesn't answer. She just grips the baby tighter, as if letting go will make it real. The husband swallows hard, then rips the child from her arms. She gasps, reaching for him, but he is already on his feet. "We're going to the hospital." Esther, standing by the door, takes a small step forward, her face unreadable. "The doctor came," she says, her voice careful, smooth. I don't care what he said." The father's roar shakes the room. "I am not leaving my son here to die." His friend steps in, gripping his shoulder. "Let's go." And with that, they bolt out the door, the mother's sobs echoing behind them. The hospital is a blur of fluorescent lights and hurried voices. Nurses rush forward, trying to pry the child from his arms, but he holds on. "He needs help." The father's voice is hoarse, desperate. "You have to help him." They take the baby. Lay him down. Hands move quickly, checking, pressing, searching for life where there is none. The father stands frozen, fists clenched, his breath coming in short, painful bursts. His friend grips his shoulder, grounding him, but nothing can prepare him for the doctor's next words. "I'm sorry." A pause. He was gone before he got here, and the doctor discussed what else they discovered with the father in private. The room tilts. The air vanishes. The father staggers back, the weight of those words crushing him. He stares at the doctor, at the tiny, unmoving body on the sterile hospital bed. No, his voice is barely a whisper. "I'm so sorry," the doctor says again. But sorry is nothing. Sorry does not bring back the dead. The father turns, fists trembling at his sides, and storms out of the room. He doesn't stop until he reaches the hospital hallway, where he slams a fist into the wall with a force that splits the skin on his knuckles. His friend steps up beside him, silent. There is nothing to say. Nothing can fix what has already been lost. The door crashes open for the second time that night. Joy, still sitting in the same spot on the floor, barely flinches. She has not moved since her child was taken from her arms. She is a shell, emptied of all feeling, lost in the echoes of her own grief. But her husband is a storm. His breathing is ragged, his fists clenched so tightly his knuckles are white. And his eyes burn with something beyond pain. Rage. Revelation. And Esther knows. She stands quickly, trying to mask the flicker of panic behind a mask of concern. "You're back," she says softly, carefully. "What happened?" The sound cracks through the room like thunder. Esther stumbles back, clutching her burning cheek, eyes wide with shock. Joy gasps, finally breaking free from her grief-stricken daze. What are you doing?" The husband does not look at his wife. His gaze is fixed on Esther, breathing heavy, chest rising and falling as if trying to contain the fire inside him. "Why did you do it?" His voice is low, deadly. Esther recovers quickly, forcing her lips to tremble, her eyes to glisten. "I don't understand." Another step forward. Another storm of fury brewing in his chest. "Don't lie to me, Esther." His voice shakes the walls. "You think I wouldn't find out?" Her heart pounds. No, this wasn't supposed to happen. Joy scrambles to her feet, stepping between them. "What is going on?" she demands. "Why are you?" The husband grips his wife's arms, forcing her to look at him. His eyes, red with grief, bore into hers. "She killed our son." The words hang in the air, thick and suffocating. Joy's face twists in confusion. Then, horror. Esther shakes her head violently, voice trembling with practiced innocence. "That's insane. I loved your son. Don't you dare say that." He lunges at her, and for the first time, Esther feels real fear. He is not the man she once knew, the man she had spent years loving in secret. He is a father robbed of his child. And he knows. Joy is frozen, eyes darting between them. "How do you know?" she whispers. The husband breathes heavily, his hands shaking as he lifts them to his head, running them over his face. He is unraveling. But the truth has already taken root inside him. "The doctor," he mutters. "The doctor said there was something wrong." His voice grows sharper. "Our son didn't just die. He was poisoned." The mother's hands fly to her mouth. Esther feels her stomach drop. Poison. The doctor must have noticed something, the traces of a slow, careful death. "You were the only one here," the husband continues, his voice quieter now, but no less dangerous. "You were the one who stopped help from coming. You were the one who told my wife to pray instead of fighting to save him." His jaw clenches. "And you were the only one who wanted him gone." Silence. Esther's mind races, searching for an escape, for a way out, but there is none. He knows. They know. The mother turns to her, her body trembling, lips quivering. "Esther, it is not a question. It is not even disbelief. It is realization." Esther swallows hard. And then, she does the only thing she can. Esther couldn't run. She stops at the doorway, her breath ragged, her chest heaving with something dark, something deep. And then, she laughs. A slow, bitter chuckle that rises into something sharp, something unhinged. She turns back to face them, no longer pretending, no longer cowering. The mask is gone. "You think you've won, don't you?" she spits, eyes gleaming with rage. "You think you've caught me, that you can punish me. But you, she points a trembling finger at the husband, her voice thick with accusation, you are just as guilty as I am. His fists clench. Shut your mouth. Why? She tilts her head, taunting. Afraid she'll find out the truth. That this saint of a wife you cry over was never the only woman in your life. Joy gasps, taking a step back. What is she talking about? Esther smirks. Ah, that look of betrayal. It's delicious. She takes a slow step forward, dragging the moment out. Tell her, darling. Tell her how long we've been together. Tell her how, for years, you ran to me every time she failed you. How we spent nights in each other's arms while she cried herself to sleep, thinking she was the problem. Shut up, the husband roars, his face twisted in fury. But she doesn't. She can't. The rage inside her has been caged for too long, and now it's free. Esther turns to her so-called best friend, the woman who had everything, the woman who was supposed to lose. Do you know how much I hate you? She hisses. How I have spent years watching you be the perfect little wife, the beloved one, the one everyone adored. Her lips curl in disgust. Everywhere you went, people loved you. They pitied you when you couldn't have children. They prayed for you. They cherished you. And him. She gestures to the husband. He was almost mine. I had him. He was slipping through your fingers, and then. Her voice cracks with venom. Then you had to go and get pregnant. Joy stares at her, horrified, silent tears running down her face. Esther lets out a bitter sigh. That was the worst news of my life. She shakes her head, a humorless chuckle escaping her lips. You should have never had that child. I was so close to finally having what I deserved. He was going to leave you, you know? She turns back to the husband, eyes burning into his. You were almost mine. The husband looks away, his jaw tight. He doesn't deny it. Esther sneers. But no, you had to give him a son. A heir. A reason to stay. Her eyes darken. I couldn't let that happen. Joy breath hitches. You killed him? Esther straightens, lifting her chin defiantly. Yes. A horrified sob breaks from the mother's lips. Esther folds her arms, her face a mask of defiance. And I'm not sorry. The room stills. She steps closer, her voice dropping to a cruel whisper. The world is spinning. The walls feel too close, the air too thin. There is a pounding in my head, a weight in my chest so unbearable I can barely stand. I stare at her, Esther, my best friend. My sister, the woman who held my hand through my years of barrenness, who wiped my tears and whispered that God's time was the best. The woman who smiled at me when I told her I was finally pregnant. Who touched my belly, pretending to be happy for me. The woman who killed my son. I cannot breathe. I turn to my husband, searching his face, begging for some kind of denial, some kind of explanation that will make this a nightmare I can wake up from. But he does not speak. He does not move. Because it is true. He was with her. With her while I wept, while I prayed, while I blamed myself for years, he was in her arms. While I carried his child, the son I thought would finally bring us peace, he was slipping away, betraying me with the one person I trusted the most. My stomach twists. I feel sick. Too much. Too much. My baby is dead. Gone. Because of them. Esther's voice is still ringing in my head. You deserved worse. I close my eyes, gripping my chest as if that will stop my heart from shattering completely. But it is too late. It is already broken. A sob rises from deep within me, but I swallow it down. I have given them enough of my pain. Enough of my love. Enough of everything. I lift my head slowly, my vision blurred with unshed tears, my entire body trembling. And I look at them. At my husband, the man who vowed to love me, to protect me, to cherish me. Who stood by and let me break, piece by piece. At her. The woman who smiled in my face, who stood beside me as I held my dead child, knowing she was the reason he would never open his eyes again. I feel nothing. No words. No screams. No prayers. Only silence. A deep, suffocating silence that tells me one thing. I will never be the same again. Philip steps back, his chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. The air in the room is thick, too thick. The weight of what he just heard presses against his ribs, squeezing his lungs, making it impossible to stay in there a second longer. He doesn't say a word. He just turns and walks out. The night air is cold against his burning skin, but it does nothing to settle the storm inside him. His hands shake as he pulls his phone from his pocket. He almost drops it. His fingers are slick with sweat, his mind racing, his stomach twisting in knots. This isn't happening. This can't be real. But it is. Esther murdered that child. She admitted it. And his friend, his best friend, stood there, guilty, ashamed, knowing he had betrayed his own wife. Philip grits his teeth, trying to steady himself, trying to push past the rage, the shock, the horror. But he can't. Because a baby is dead. And there is only one thing left to do. He presses the emergency number, his breath shaky as the call connects. 911, what's your emergency? Philip swallows hard. I need the police. Now. What's the situation, sir? His voice is hoarse, but firm. A child has been murdered. Poisoned. And the killer is standing right inside that house. Silence on the other end. Then, the operator's voice, more urgent now. Can you confirm the address? Philip gives it, glancing back toward the house. The door is still open, the dim light spilling onto the porch. Inside, he can hear muffled voices, accusations, grief, pain. But it's all just noise to him now. Who is the suspect? Philip grips the phone so tightly his knuckles turn white. Her name is Esther. And do you know the victim? Philip closes his eyes, the image of that tiny lifeless body flashing in his mind. He was only 2 months old. His voice cracks. There's a pause. Then the operator's voice, firm and decisive. Officers are on their way. Stay put. Philip lowers the phone, staring at the ground. His heart pounds violently against his ribs, but he does not move. Because for all the evil that has happened tonight, one thing is certain. Justice is coming. Esther steps towards Joy, her gaze locked onto her so-called best friend, her lips curling into a slow, cruel smirk. What now? She taunts, her voice dripping with venom. What's left for you, Your child is dead. Your husband never loved you. Your whole life, everything you ever held onto, is gone. The mother doesn't move. She is still as stone, her face unreadable, but Esther can feel her breaking inside. And she loves it. Esther tilts her head, eyes gleaming with twisted delight. You should just die, she whispers, her voice like a dagger to the heart. There's nothing left for you. Nothing at all. A single tear slips down the mother's cheek, but she does not blink. Does not speak. Esther's smile widens. Or do you still think you can pray your way out of this? She lets out a sharp, mocking laugh. Go ahead. Cry to God. Beg him to take away the pain. She leans in, her voice dropping to a taunting whisper. See if he answers you this time. The pounding of fists against the door shatters the moment. Police. Open up. Esther jerks back, her smirk faltering for the first time. The husband stiffens. The mother's breath catches. The door flies open, and in storm 2 uniformed officers, their hands resting on their holsters. Their sharp eyes scan the room, taking in the tension, the raw grief, the undeniable presence of something dark. Esther, one of them says, stepping forward. You are under arrest for the murder of... Wait, what? Esther's eyes go wide, her confidence cracking. Who called the... And then she sees him. Philip. Standing just outside the door, watching in silence, his expression unreadable. Her heart drops. You, she breathes, shaking her head. You called them? Philip says nothing. He only stares at her, his gaze empty, his judgment already past. The officers move swiftly. One grabs Esther by the arms, pulling them behind her back. She thrashes, struggling, her voice rising in panicked fury. No, you can't do this. You don't understand. The cold bite of steel cuffs snaps around her wrists. She whips her head toward the husband, eyes wild. Do something, tell them. But another officer is already on him. Sir, you are also under arrest for your involvement in... No, he mutters, shaking his head as they cuff him too. His body sags in defeat. This wasn't supposed to happen. Esther glares at him, pure rage burning in her veins. Coward. He was supposed to fight for her. He was supposed to save her. But instead, he bows his head, too ashamed to meet his wife's eyes. Joy doesn't speak, doesn't blink, just watches. As they drag them both toward the door. As Esther kicks and screams, cursing, thrashing against her restraints. As the husband keeps his head down, silent. Philip follows behind them, his steps slow, his eyes heavy with disappointment. He walks past the mother, who still hasn't moved, her face unreadable. He stops beside her, hesitates for only a second, then speaks. They're gone now. Joy does not look at him. She only exhales. A breath so heavy, it sounds like the end of the world. She doesn't move. She doesn't speak. She just sits there, on the cold, unforgiving floor, her back pressed against the wall, her legs stretched out in front of her like she has no strength left to tuck them beneath her. Her arms rest lifelessly at her sides, but her hands tremble. Tears spill down her face, slow and unending, but she does not sob. She does not even blink. It is as if her body has given up everything except the ability to weep. Her whole life. A lie. Her husband never loved her. Her best friend envied her, hated her, took from her the one thing she had begged God for. Her child, her precious baby, gone. What is the point of answered prayers if they only lead to pain? What is the point of love if it only leads to betrayal? What is the point of God if He lets the people she trusted the most rip her heart to shreds? She closes her eyes. The silence in the house is deafening. The voices, the chaos, the screams of betrayal all gone. It's just her now. Alone. God has failed her. Love has failed her. Friendship has failed her. But one thing is certain. She will never fail her child. Her fingers curl into fists, nails digging into her palms, but she does not flinch. Her baby deserved to live. And now, everyone who had a hand in his death will pay.